Hi, and welcome to Actual Play Court of Blades, the GM turn. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me everywhere at Sean Nittner. As usual, proceeds from the show are donated to Black Lives Matter and the Trans Legal Defense Fund. And so if you send money or subs or cheer or whatever our way, that's where we'll go. We appreciate it. Today is going to be a short episode as we go through not I don't know that the GM turn is a unique part of Court Blades, but it's something that not a lot of Forged in the Dark games have. So I wanted to put it on stream so people could see what this looks like. Sean, introduce yourself. Tell us all about it.
I will. Hi, I'm Sean Drake. I'm one of the co-authors of Court of Blades. The GM's turn here for Court of Blades is kind of my baby, so I got elected to run it. Also, I'm running the actual play here, so it's my responsibility anyway. Hi, I'm Sean Drake. I use he/him pronouns as well. You can find me on Twitter at Drake and Dice or at Itch.io at a couple of Drakes at Itch.io. So. But what I really wanted to do, I just wanted to get the GM turn here, this first setup of Ilrian that kind of makes it live and breathe, and I wanted to bring Sean Nittner along with me while I did that. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I say as I'm a guest on your stream.
Happy to be, yeah.
Okay, so the first thing that we have to do to kind of get Ilrian set up is define our opposition. So we know all about Hospitalia. We know that we have strengths, we have territory in the Necropolitan Hill. We need to know what everybody else's strengths are and where their focuses of power, where their spheres of influence are. So I figured we'd start at the top. Is that okay with you?
Sounds great. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
For what it's worth, Sean does all this stuff in Discord, so that's what we're showing. That's what we've got right now, and I'm on his I'm on their the Drake's Discord server, and we're going to be bouncing around between a couple channels. But that's where everything's stored. Sean's using a few Blades in the Dark and Clock bots to do this stuff as well.
Yeah, the Hacked in the Dark Discord, the Blades in the Dark Discord has been really helpful for running games, especially like my weekly game. And since then, now I just use Discord as like my GM binder. But oftentimes, like this is really easy just to kind of keep a little notebook or a deck of index cards or anything like that. The idea of the GM's turn was to make the living, breathing world of Ilrian really, really easy to run. Like a lot of times, anytime you're doing like a social intrigue game, you'll have a lot of different plates spinning. You're going to try and make concrete progress on a whole bunch of different fronts. And I wanted to make this something that could be set up in 15 minutes so that you can get back to the table with an idea of what you're going to do. Like if you come through a social season and the night's not over yet, and you need to get the party moving again, you need to get the coterie out on their next errand. This is a really easy way to see how the city shifts over the course of the season and change things. Okay, so like I said, first thing with House Lavelle, we need to decide which of their strengths, intelligence, magic, or wealth is going to get dropped. It's like Hospitalia got 2 of them. Now, I'm spitballing. I like wealth and magic since they are the arcane gossip mongers of wealth and taste.
Mm-hmm.
But I could also see like magic and intelligence.
Yeah. It would be, we didn't choose wealth either, and it might say something if there's several houses that don't have wealth, that Esultare is having problems, right? Like that the nobles are, because wealth is just such a typical thing you assume the nobles will have. Like it's just such a common thing, and I wouldn't say exclude it in all cases, but it might be interesting if there's several houses that are having financial trouble, just because that could, then there's the question of why, like what happened or what's going on. And it might be an interesting area of like, well, this is where some of the houses can bond because they're all, that there's a source that's draining their wealth or preventing them from gaining it. And so that interests me, the idea of like intelligence and magic, just or maybe not in Lavelle, but like in some of the houses also not choosing wealth.
Yeah, I think that's actually super cool. I guess just kind of to hammer this home for you, Sean, if Core were to give Cipriana 2 strengths that she could lord over them.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Right? What do you think those strengths? Which one of those would hurt more? Like the fact that they can outspend you, that they know everything before you do, or that they wield magic that is just way beyond the ken of anything that Hospitalia can bring to
Oh
bear.
yeah. Well, the thing that would kill Core at her heart is Cipriana knowing more than her, like being more well informed, being faster to the punch. Because Core, although she's a Bravo, she definitely identifies herself by her mental acuity more than her physical prowess. And she wants to be a lawyer. She wants to become an advocate, and she's been trying really hard to have all the right connections. So somebody who has knowledge of information before she gets it would get in her craw very, very badly.
Okay.
Magic.
It's devastating. They have to have intelligence now.
Yeah, totally. 100% agree. Yeah. The other two kind of either one, but I know knowledge would be the killer for her.
Okay. I'm going to give them intelligence and magic because typically, because it says arcane gossip mongers of wealth and taste, I take wealth just as a matter of course running around. But this time I'm going to go magic because I think that this is a weird Battaglia game where things arcane are happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and House Lavelle has strengths and intelligence and magic. Let's talk about House Irlanda.
Cool. And just out of curiosity, are you? Let's see. Let me pull up Lavelle.
Yeah, we have their strengths marked down underneath their 3 stats: their reach, grasp, and sleight. We'll talk about those in a moment.
Excellent. I'm just making sure I'm showing the right thing. So I'm just switching to the Lavelle channel. And yeah, perfect. Okay, so where are we going to now? Irlanda?
We're going to House Irlanda, the second house in the city. So these guys have intelligence, transport, and supply. I think that it makes sense. I like them to kind of be a foil to House Battaglia because House Battaglia has that kind of monopoly on transport in the city. I like the idea that these might be the people who can match you gesture for gesture in that.
Absolutely. And I think a really good like we have transport and force. We can move people around, but it's a hell of a lot more useful than moving people all the time is moving stuff. So if they had transport and supply, I could see that as a really strong combo.
Works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Okay, this is going quick. I like this. We seem to be pretty simpatico here. Corvetto, the Majestic Tyrants, are good at transport, magic, and wealth. I think these might be our wealthy guys.
Yeah. What is Corvetto's short little shtick?
The Majestic Tyrants. Yeah, this is an old family of mystery and I think wealth.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Their house words are under our wings.
Can they have, I like the are you a fan of the John Wick series?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. The stupid like coin currency in John Wick is really interesting to me. I think it's like ridiculous. It seems like maybe you get like 1 coin for killing somebody, but he like paid like 1 coin per body that was cleaned up. I'm like, clearly the coins, there's a currency there that is not exactly explicit on
De
screen.
facto murder currency.
Yeah, but I love the idea that like maybe House Corvetto has these like ancient pre-Esseltare treasure trove, right? And so like anytime their money gets like sent around, like everybody knows it because it's like nobody has it. Like there's an old trove and the money is still worth something, but like they're the only one who has access to it. And they sort of have cornered the market on this currency. So if you're dealing in it, it just has a lot of weight in that because it's got all this like history and tradition, which of course Battaglia would care about, and because we care about honor and tradition. But I don't know. I'm just envisioning them having this like old mint that no one else does.
We can't expunge the Corvetto currency, but we can, glower at it like that's not a fiore. That's not.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, it makes sense because like their special abilities, our reputation precedes us, right? Like,
yeah, right. No one would dare refuse a Corvetto coin.
But, no.
But still, you could grumble about it. It doesn't spend quite the same.
Yeah, I think wealth and magic for these guys. What do
Oh,
you
I
think?
dig it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is magic heavy. I mean, we have to equip as many people as possible with magic.
Well, we are on Necromancer Hill, right? So yeah, having lots of people interested in magic makes all sorts of sense. All right.
Corvetto has been dealt with. Maurizi for the next one.
Cool.
The tower built of spit and spite are good at force, supply, and intelligence.
These were the mercenary folks that sort of came
Yeah.
originally as mercs and have claimed a house or
Yeah, so they came over as mercenaries, decided that Ilrian was a good place to like set up shop basically, and they became over time so wealthy and powerful, playing against the various houses of Ilrian that they rose as kind of a house in their own right,
nice.
which makes me think force, but maybe they were just trickier. They were just trickier than anybody else.
There's got to be at least another like. It's got to be at least. I want at least one more that's got force because it feels like, uh, um, Battaglia. That is one of our strengths, and I want to see that butt up against somebody.
Yeah,
I could see them not having force if they settled a long time ago and they've kind of they've rested on their laurels a little bit. But I don't know. I like it. I like going with the obvious thing in a
sure.
lot of cases, and I
Every
think
so often, right? Just because, really, you just want somebody that Core gets to fight later.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I saw on Navi's Stars and Wishes that she wants to see Core fight somebody. So
Yeah, she's like, I wonder what your style is. I'm like, yeah, I wonder what my style is too.
I wonder what your style is. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
yeah, I have some ideas. I'm glad she said it because I hadn't even thought about it. So I was like, okay, I should start thinking about this because there are so many fun dueling styles.
She plays a Bravo in my weekly game. Like she's got a vested interest.
Nice.
All right. I think force and supply. Like you have a bunch of soldiers, the ability to project force within the city and outside the city. But
Right.
everybody knows that an army marches on its stomach. Whoever can produce the more bullets, beans, and bandages is going to win the war.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get your troops anywhere. I think that House Maurizi is best at keeping like a concerted effort for a long time.
Nice.
Like once they dig in, once they start, assaulting, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if we talked about it, but to me, the combination of force and transportation really like smacks of cavalry, but it also like I don't know how much clockwork steampunk sort of technology exists here, because I could also see like gliders or other sorts of just depending on what the technology level is, other sorts of transportation technology that is not commonly
Absolutely.
isn't commonly
Yeah, and
available.
it varies game to game, but I've definitely seen like a steampunk tank rampage through the city
Yeah,
once.
I'd love us to have a big ass Zeppelin. I think that'd be sweet, fully with helium, uh, with hydrogen rather, that it could just explode at any
Oh, the
time.
humanity. Yeah.
But
Awesome.
force and transport, be able to take a Zeppelin and drop an army on someplace, it's pretty cool.
They'll never see it coming.
Unless they look up.
You know what year it is? Who looks up?
Right.
I actually don't know what year it is anymore. All right. That leaves us
20,000, I think.
That leaves us with Bastien to figure out strengths for, and then we'll start carving up the city into smaller little chunks.
Cool.
So Bastien, the rising tide. They have force, they have magic, they have supply. I think we just gave Maurizi both force and supply.
Mm-hmm.
We could do force and magic and make them both kind of like
that sounds fun.
Force for good in both directions.
Yeah, well, having a few military powers to, if you have two, they can get stuck at loggerheads. If you have three, then you always you can't invest all of it. If you were to come to an open confrontation, you can't invest all of your efforts in one place because you never know.
Gotta watch your back. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bastien is the one right above us as well, which is kind of rough. Bastien is like the good guys if there was any of this setting, and the idea of like immediately trying to take them down sounds I don't know. I wanna form a alliance and see if we can climb the ladder together. But we'll see if
That
that's
would be cool.
possible.
That would be cool. But remember, there can only be one first house. So
Yeah,
it
I
might, at
know.
the end of it all, come down to, well, one of us is gonna have to take number two, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's okay. We got a while to figure that's a future House Battaglia problem. Not,
Sure
not,
is. Sure is. Yeah. By that point, you should be very comfortable in the house, right?
yeah,
So force and magic, so they can kind of disrupt the status quo in both directions, appeals to me,
yeah,
and to you as well.
yeah. I think that sounds great.
Okay, let's set it in type then, and then we'll talk about spheres of influence. So if you want to jump over to the spheres of influence real quick, that's where the main action is going to be happening in the next 10 minutes or so.
Got it. And let me see if I can pull up the beautiful map you have as well.
Badly need to actually give this game a map that it deserves.
Oh, I think having anything that is usable is fantastic. I don't. I mean, yes. Well, at some point you have a really pretty published one, but in the beginning, just having something functional is great.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm gonna hide that for a moment while I pull up the map in Roll20. But you keep going while I.
All right, so we know that the palace, the current prince of the city, because every house has its own prince, and prince is a gender neutral term.
Mm-hmm.
The current prince of the city, the person holding court, is a Lavelle. So the palace is theirs. We know that you guys have the Necropolitan Hill. House Battaglia holds the Necropolitan Hill, but we've got 19 other spheres of influence to distribute. So
fun.
Every house gets, basically every time they rise, they get a new sphere of influence. So the sixth house has one, the fifth house has two, the fourth house has three, and so on. So House Battaglia, unfortunately, you guys are going to have to content yourself with holding the creepy hill with the deathless until you get rise to fifth house in the city.
So is that what is a point of curiosity? Is that a both a prescriptive and a descriptive status? So meaning if you go up in status, you're given a place, but if you take a place by force or some other means, you also go up in status. By is that the
so the notion is that you gain the perks and the acknowledged control of the sphere of influence when you rise in station. You gain it by gaining reputation and renown, the house growing in power. You do seize it from somebody, right? And as you seize it, that might be the thing that actually puts you up and over the top. It'll still belong to them in name, but it'll be yours as far as the fiction goes, right? But until everybody just agrees that yes, that is House Battaglia's territory, it'll still be somebody else's in the eyes of the prince, right?
Yeah.
But that being said, what do we think Bastien holds in Ilrian? Because I'm tempted to say maybe the artist's quarter, or maybe even like maybe the trader's gate, maybe something that hinges on public opinion, the granary perhaps.
I was thinking the granary as well, or the plaza. But one of the things I kind of like the idea of also is something that is really essential, like the docks. And the reason why is that if you hold on to something really, really critical, it doesn't matter how much the other houses like you or not. You're performing this like absolutely fundamental role that they have to be like, well,
they have to take it seriously.
Yeah, someone has to do that. So I think what is the Trader's Gate?
So the Trader's Gate is kind of the back way into Ilrian. Anybody of importance, anybody who is invited, and like potentates, and anybody that is mostly coming in from Calray, where the Dread Emperor kind of came through down into Ilrian. ordered this grand gate to be constructed, and there's the white road ahead, and it's, you know, very well kept. The Trader's Gate kind of comes up through the Rebel foothills, or not the Rebel, the Necropolitan Hill. So past kind of the spooky rocky country and in through kind of the south. So it's typically where mercenaries enter. It's where you know, anybody trying to access the Foreign Quarter or the Twist or anything like that is going to be coming through. It's not where the nobility or the quality comes through.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think any one of these, because they get two, I think any one of the Grand Gate, the Trader's Gate, or the docks all make sense, because if they're controlling one of those three, you can't dispute their necessity. And then they could have something else that was like the granary or the
I really like the idea of them holding the Trader's Gate, because it makes sense that they're your nearest rival and they're also your nearest geographically, right? If
absolutely.
Trader's Gate, you're right up close and neighbor.
Right. Every time they're going by, we're looking down on the hill, being like, "Yep, hey, what's going on?" Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay. Let's do the Trader's Gate and the granary then. I'm going to go ahead and update.
Cool. Are we ordered in Discord? Are we ordered in order of tier?
We are, yeah. So Lavelle at top, then Irlanda, Corvetto, Maritzi, Bastion.
So all of the martial houses are the lowest ranking, which is interesting.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like if I know anything about the way sometimes generals just say like, this city is now mine.
Yeah.
Because I have all the soldiers and you can't do anything about it. I could see uprisings of that nature. Not that I necessarily want to instigate it, but I could totally see if you the people with the swords but not the coin going like, I could just use the sword to take the coin.
The gold has no provenance, but swords have even less so. Like that's
yeah.
It shakes down this way every now and then, where we've got a whole bunch of very martial folk down on the bottom.
Yep.
We'll see how the clocks that we roll up for these guys' initial objectives kind of supports or kind of hedges away from that narrative, and then we'll talk through it. Okay, so Maritzi get 3 individual pieces. What do we think? Like, I like the idea that somebody martial holds the docks or the arsenal.
Arsenal makes a lot of sense because they have both force and supply, so that seems like a good like justification or explanation for it.
Certainly.
What are the canals?
The canals are kind of the lifeblood of the city. If you hold the canals, basically it's yours to tax. It's yours to kind of regulate traffic as it goes through.
Yeah,
things like that. Like that's kind of the fictional. It's almost that I knight you, Lord of all of the sewage and
Lord
water,
of Lord of tax, the Lord of taxation. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think. Oh, there's a lot of good ones. I could see it being. I could see. I don't know if it seems like somebody with wealth might control the market.
I could see that
there, but I do dig. What's that?
The Foreign Quarter is kind of like the secondary market. It's also like where anybody who has like a delegation or a diplomatic mission to Ilrian would like find quarters and lodging. That might be something, especially if they came as conquering mercenary princes.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
give them Foreign Quarter. It's a lot, but I think giving them the docks makes total sense as well. It kind of all fits.
Give them the docks too. It's all right. You'll live to regret it later.
You cut out a tiny bit because of.
It's all right. You'll live to regret it later.
Oh no, I don't like any of these choices. No.
These would all be great for Hospitalia to own, right?
Yeah, totally. We instead we have to. I love that we're just like, okay, there's all these practical things that we could have, like the gates. Like that. No, we have the creepy hill. That's
We
fine.
have the biggest graveyard.
It's like starting as Australia at a risk. You're
It
just like,
really is.
well, I've got my little thing here. No
Just
one's
build
gonna
up,
mess with
build
it.
up, build up, and build. All right. So Corvetto gets 4. I am tempted for Corvetto to say that they own the canals.
Yeah, makes
I'm
sense.
also tempted to say that they own the twist. The kind of the poor side, cheap side, the place where all like kind of the shady backroom deals and things go on.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I could also see like the Silk, the red light district, or even like owning the Watch as sort of like the kind of cloak and dagger. Nobody's real sure what they're up to, but they control the Watch.
yeah, I dig that. I think controlling the canals and the watch. I mean, if you control both the cops and the fair trade, we could leave the twist and the silk up to someone else who they'd necessarily have to parlay with each other because of
Sure.
they're so immersed in one another.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think Silk might end up being like Lavelle. The
Mhm.
gossip mongers owning the red light district just makes so much sense.
Totally.
I'm actually going to go ahead and write that in right now. If that's okay.
Yeah. I also think Corvetto might have either the university or the temples. I feel like there's a history of Corvetto that would be enshrined in a building like an old university or an old temple. Like I feel like some of that's one of the places where you can go. Let's say you go to the university and you would see like a giant statue of the Corvetto founder, and like there would be halls named after various Corvetto various people that are been in the family. It's a way to sort of flaunt your not only your wealth but also your
History.
your history. Exactly.
I love that. Yes, they're absolutely the biggest patrons of the university
Yeah, totally.
because their version of history is the one that gets taught then.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if people actually ever go about reading or paying attention, that's a powerful tool.
I want to give them the garden too because it's sort of like the public green space. It's
Nice.
basically the gardens of treachery from Game of Thrones, and I think it makes total sense that Corvetto has their power there. They've always got their agents provocateur kind of wandering around and keeping ears out and things like that.
Where do they draw most of their money from besides the canals? Canals are obvious like taxing, but I wonder if going to university is stupid expensive, if the gardens are where like illicit deals are set up and they have like finder fees, if the watch just freaking just runs people down and extorts people for money. I kind of think that they need to have at least two really solid sources. The canals is the obvious one, but it feels to
Absolutely.
me like there
Yeah,
should be
I
another one
think
that's
I think the pressure that they can put on people through the watch uh,
mm-hmm.
and the university and the canals, all of those are key money making ventures.
Nice. Yay, ridiculous student fees and cops that extort people
Yeah,
and yeah, no, this isn't our own personal apocalypse. All right.
less reality, more fantasy. Um,
But I can stab somebody. So, that's the agency that we want here. It's not that we don't want bad things. We just want to be able to punch them. Um awesome.
right.
So we have uh Irlanda and Lavelle left.
So let's do Yolanda. I think that it makes total sense to give them the market, the arbor, um, maybe the
Mhm.
bank.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think Lavelle should have the bank because they don't have wealth, and I think, uh, yeah, I like the market and the arbor. The bank does all sound good. Um, I also think that they could have the grand gates. They get four, right?
They do indeed.
Yeah, I think Orlando's strength is transport and supply, and I feel like they have total access to what comes in and out. Since that's I imagine the Grand Gate and the docks are the areas where the biggest amount of shipments and product are coming through.
Totally. All right. Well, in that case, that makes Lavelle really easy to fill in.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yep. Nice.
All right.
I like that they have the temple and the palace. That's a nice.
That's
sign.
scary, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very scary. Yeah.
They've also got the theaters, and they've got the cheap side. They've got the twist. They've got the silk. So they've got you coming, going. They've got you at work, at play. They've got you when you pray. They've got you when you vote. They've got you every which way. No wonder you're sitting at the top of the heap.
Yep.
Well, good news is the hard part is now over. That is actually the biggest stumbling block when you set up a new game of Court of Blades, establishing the fiction of who owns what and why. Now we get to do the really easy part that happens every 3 sessions, where we start rolling some dice and seeing what everybody's kind of up to. And this is the part that is supposed to go really, really fast. So I'm just going to go into each one of these, and I'm going to roll 4d6s. I'm going to consult some roll charts in the back of the book, and then we're going to build some fiction around these really, really short, kind of punchy prompts, and then that'll be a family done.
Cool.
So we'll start with Lavelle.
Sounds good.
All right, so I got 1, 2, 6, 1. And it's a success. Did you see that?
I did. Good job.
All right. So House Objectives is there at the back. It's on page 211 if you want to follow along in the Google Doc at home.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up as we speak.
Oh, I completely forgot to walk through what the house stats are, because you need stats if you're going to roll dice, right?
Yeah.
So
sure. Yeah.
Every house has 3 stats for their basically how they play as the AI houses, right? So they have reach, they have grasp, and they have sleight. Reach is the ability to project influence outside and inside of Ilrian. So anything that is expanding your sphere of influence, trying to basically send out tendrils or put out feelers or anything like that. Anytime you're trying to kind of grasp above your station, you're going to be rolling reach. Anything that is coincidentally going to be reaching out and actually trying to take hold of something, to seize power, to project force, anything like that, that's going to be grasp. And then sleight is how to keep your objectives veiled, how to keep your secrets and skullduggery and things like that. So every house has 3 points of one of the, or 3 points spread among these 3.
Got it.
And when they roll on these clocks, they roll those dice plus their strength if they have an appropriate strength. This will become clear.
Right.
It sounds weird when I try and explain it. When I do it, it is going to make perfect sense. Okay.
Nice.
So we're going to
I'm on page 211, is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull that up.
So we're going to do a 6-part reach clock. We're going to undercut the competition. We're going to undercut the competition through wealth. We're going to undercut the competition through wealth against a minor house. Okay, we can do this.
I haven't quite pulled it up for everyone to see yet. It's almost there. Okay, there we go. Now it finally showed. All right, so table 1, what was our numbers again? Sorry, I'm trying to show everything.
1, 2, 6, 1.
All right, so you went 1, and that was a 6-part reach clock.
Part reach.
2 was 6-part reach clocks. We go undercut the competition, and then let's scroll. And then what was 6 and 1? Where did you find those at? Just
6 and 1 is on the next page. 6 is going to be, we're going to determine what the strength required for this.
Got it, with wealth.
Resource is going to be wealth. And then 1 down on the little wealth chart
is a minor house.
A minor house. So we're going to undertake a modestly long-term goal to undercut a minor house and basically either accrue wealth, take their wealth, ensure that nobody else has wealth, something like that. So this is what the prompt looks like, and then we can build fiction on these as they come out.
Yeah.
So this is a clock that over the course of seasons they'll be rolling on, and as the dice come up, the agenda advances and the city changes. So I think that this is going to be. I think this might be something tied to Irlanda, one of the people that are existing in kind of the Irlanda space, as Lavelle is trying to make inroads into Irlanda's spaces, right? So I'm going to pull up our spheres of influence for Irlanda, and we've got Irlanda in the market. I'm going to go to, just real quick, the spheres of influence in detail and pull up the market and see who is holding the market right now. Okay, beautiful. So the Fortunato Trade Company. I think that House Lavelle is trying to put some pressure on the Fortunato Trade family in hopes that it damages House Irlanda. Does that check with you?
Yeah, I think their big their strengths are intelligence and magic, and it seems to me like the trading company may not have may have violated some sanctions, may have passed off some goods, may have, or rather have a practice. They probably have some illegal or unsavory practice that they've learned about, and they can use that to manipulate them. And because everybody does, everybody's got something, but I think it makes sense that they found out about it, and now they can try and use that as leverage.
Okay. So I have a clock that is the Fortunato Trade Federation in Lavelle. I think that the fiction around this is because they are magical. They're probably trying to have magically enforceable contracts that they're seeding among the Fortunato Trade Federation. So that's good grist for later errands and engagements, because all we have to do is catch wind of this, and we as players can actually go and impact these. If we actually get in front of these, then we can make it so they can't roll any dice on these, because this is how houses advance. They get ticks on warring clocks as they complete these objectives. So we're establishing these things. A downtime action that we can take at any time during downtime is to find out what the other houses are up to, and then you can actually spend an errand to go and get in front of that. So
have you read the Dictator's Handbook?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's the one of the biggest takeaways I got from that. I read that when I was working on Broken Spire. It's a terrifying great book. But one of the biggest things I took away from that was anytime you are not actively working on securing your power base, you are creating opportunity for others to take it from you. So the role of someone in power is to stay in power. It's nothing else. It's not to look out for the people they govern. It's not to, at least according to the Dictator's Handbook.
You're supposed to be securing your essentials.
Yeah.
And marginalizing everybody else. It's
exactly. Awful. Yeah.
Basically a how-to for psychopaths. I love it.
Yeah, it's all terrifying. It's somewhat hopeful towards the very end, but
it takes a long time getting there.
85% of that book is just like, oh my God, this world sucks. And it sucks by design. All right. So cool.
Okay. So Irlanda next rolled a critical. They got 2, 6, 6, 6. So obviously the devil is with them.
Yeah.
We're going to do a 6-part grasp clock. We are going to force a weakness. We're going to force a weakness with wealth. We are going to force a weakness with wealth at a party.
Nice. 6-part glass heart, force a weakness. Wealth at a party. Cool. So the last one, you got a little direction, which was a minor house. So you kind of had a good place to get started and trying to figure out what the fictional explanation for this is. But with this one, you've got a party, so you don't really have anything specific to the setting unless you kind of look at locations and go, well, where are the biggest parties, etc.
Yeah, and these are supposed to be vague enough to where we can, basically play with things until it feels right. Sort of dialing things in. And obviously, I'll take what we roll for our coterie, which is basically when I do these, I'll either take something that's suggested from one of the example errands in the book, or I'll basically roll up objectives for Lavelle just like I would anything else, and kind of monkey with it as well until eventually it feels right. But the idea is that they're supposed to be little seeds, right? When I see force of weakness, wealth at a party, I'm thinking that either they're trying to secure a very difficult to pin down business contact, and the way they do that is basically showing them a good time. They might be entertaining like a foreign diplomat. They might be entertaining. They could be making overtures with one of the bigger factions. It might be that they are actually we've got holidays, minor holidays for Ilrin in the book here. Maybe they're entertaining on one of these holidays.
Yeah, I think they're trying to woo. I think that they're trying to woo somebody who is loyal to another house. Not loyal, rather, who's primarily doing transactions with another house, and maybe that other house has debts with, or there's something unfavorable about them. But I like the idea of a powerful merchant that's from outside of Ilrin that controls that being the first one to get their wares or having them be dedicated to you would represent a lot of temporal power outside the city. I dig that a lot.
I love it. I like that a lot as well. I'm thinking maybe like a Berylene, like a Jewel Cities, a Jewel Cities merchant, dispossessed and kind of looking for a place to set up shop. And Yolanda's like, "Come to us, please. We will wine and dine you until you want to make us all the money."
Yep. Who do you think they're trying to steal them from? Because I don't think they would go through all this effort if this person wasn't hotly, or who do you think they're contesting with, if not trying to steal from? Seems like another house would be involved to me. I know that that's not in the roll up, but I feel like
I like starting crap like that. So I'm thinking Maritzi, because they also have supply. I'm thinking they're taking from Maritzi. Yeah. You on board with that?
Yeah, I love it. That sounds great.
Okay, so we're going to have Woo Maritzi Craftsman.
Oh, Luke had threw a good idea out there, showing someone a good time and luring them into doing something regrettable that could be used as blackmail later.
Chef's kiss.
Sounds about right. All right. And so now we're on Corvetto. Stay on Ireland.
Yes, we are. I'm just trying to get my syntax right here.
Yep. I don't know the clocks in the dark. Bot syntax. There you go.
There it is. I have to keep the titles small.
Oh, right. Got it.
Yeah. How's Corvetto? We are going to roll bang for. Ooh.
So many crits.
I know. This is why I'm not allowed to play anymore.
Yeah, I feel yeah. Oh, I wasn't showing everybody. Sorry, everybody. This is Arlanda, and we've got the Maritzi Craftsman, and here's Corvetto. We just rolled 6161. So they have an 8-part slight clock to disrupt an important union using wealth and a minor house again.
Okay, this is really cool because I think in this part, I think Corvetto get to be real heels here. I think that we are doing like classic Romeo and Juliet. They're disrupting not just a union, but like these two young lovers, and I think they might be trying to secure their own house. Kind of pushing away a minor house who was trying to marry into the family.
Mm.
I'm trying to decide who I want that to be.
Yeah, seems like it's a slate clock, right? So it's their goal is in doing this, they're hoping to keep their secrets hidden and keep their
Maybe make
moves.
themselves look like the aggrieved ones. They might be trying
Yeah,
to, yeah.
they may be publicly embracing some minor house and uplifting them while privately trying to set them up for as the fall, so that they look like they're such noble people for taking these, you know, less wealthy folks in, and then that's what always happens whenever you try to lift somebody up, is that they bite the hand that feeds them, and look what horrible people they are. We wanted to help them, but
Now that you're saying this, I think it has to be the Brizzolato crime family. I think they're
oh,
trying.
nice.
I think they're trying to co-opt the Brizzolato crime family's assets and all of their various things because they need that wealth. They need to.
Nice, nice.
They need to.
Are they known? Are they known as the Brutalata crime family? Like, is that a
Brizzolatos are a perfectly legitimate crime family.
nice, nice?
Yes, they're upstanding. They take care of the twist, but they are definitely involved in some things that are on the sketchy side. We just can't prove it. We can't prove it.
Right. So they can't say we're trying to redeem criminals, but they can say, we're trying to lift this minor house up, and everyone knows that it's, everyone knows they're criminals. Yeah, I love it.
And it makes
So
sense
when it all goes wrong, no one will be surprised.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it'll be just as the Corvetto meant it to.
Yeah. Right. I dig it.
Crime wedding.
I have a question about the machinations of players, right? Because I think if you have a bunch, if you're looking at sort of like Game of Thrones style storytelling, that there's, well, that between the books and the movies, that it's sort of going all over the place. There's sort of a couple different sentiments one might take away from it. One is either you play the game and you're just as nefarious as everyone else, or you lose. And if you try to have any sense of honor or nobility or virtue of any kind, you're just creating opportunities for your opponents. And the other one is if you play the really, really, really long game, you can still maintain your values to some degree and win out in the end. But it's super hard to do. And I mean, I think, we see like Ned Stark is like the naive example of that, but I think Tyrion Lannister is meant to be the, non-naive long-term example of like someone who's not a complete tool of a human being, but has to play all these games to sort of sustain themselves. And I wonder from the perspective of, play experience, like to what degree players are in that role where if they want to survive in this world, they have to be just as cutthroat as all of the heels that they're around, or if they have a little bit more agency to try and be decent people.
So it depends. It certainly depends. I've had people who have gleefully served House Corvetto and just kind of like gotten into the whole, like, if there's a back, we'll stab it.
Yeah.
But I've also had people play House Bastien, and I've had them, work toward, undoing this kind of tangled web of politics and trying to, we came real close to just disbanding the Esaltare altogether.
Nice.
I think that I've had it go the other way, like basically swap the houses around and have it go just about the same direction, but from opposite sides. There's a lot of, like, you're mechanically incentivized to the house will put jobs in front of you.
Right.
The house will put jobs in front of you and say, this is what we need our coterie to do. But it's left open as far as like what your major objective for the season is. If it's one of those things, the house will probably shower more favor on you. But by the same token, like, you define your own objectives as long as it serves the house. If serving the house is like, Lavelle is about to engage in this horrible act of depraved sorcery, and we have to do something about that. Let's go steal grimoires this particular social season. That's our major objective. The house is like, well, we told you to go and and like go negotiate for better trade arrangements with Iberica. What were you doing? No, you don't understand. This is okay, but we're watching you. Like there's plenty of room to define your own fiction, and a good GM can take these tools that we have here and spitball like, hey guys, this is what's going on this season. But by the same token, like the fiction is something that happens at the table. It's not what the GM is doing over here on the side.
Yeah.
All I can do is give you kind of cool ideas to start bouncing off of, and then we get to see where, like that's basically what play to find out means for me.
Nice. Sorry, I think I distract you. I pulled you away from making more rolls, but I was.
Oh no, that's fine. So I was just real quick gonna throw down the prompts, and then we can noodle with them, and then we can talk about our first dossier.
Right. I see Maritzi's got 3612 6-part sleight plan to play both sides using intelligence and a schematic.
Yeah, I think playing both sides here is Maurizi is getting really cozy with Irlanda, trying to help them court that what do you call it? The craftsman that they're trying to steal from Maurizi. Maurizi knows this entirely and is going to make sure that craftsman comes with none of the schematics that he has developed for House Maurizi.
Oh dang! So they're gonna pay. They're gonna wine and dine, and they're gonna pay all the stuff, and then they're gonna get a dud. They're gonna get a lemon.
Yeah, exactly. All of his best ideas, they're ours.
Right.
Sorry. You're more than welcome to pay his retainer.
Yep. Dig it. And with Bastien, we've got an 8-part slate clock. Know the unknowable. Transport. What is the White Road?
So the White Road is that grand highway that extends from Ilrien about 100 miles into Calray. I think that somewhere on there, they are going to be working because they are a magic house too, and they're knowing the unknowable. Maybe they find the Book of the Long Watch, the thing that the sevenfold veils are looking for to wake the last deathless. Maybe they know where it is and it's on the White Road. They have to find a way to secret it into the city where they'll be able to either turn a profit, use it, or something else. We'll see. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great. Especially since some folks just broke into our hill and like set just a bunch of critters. It's fine. A bunch of critters free. That could give us some immediate reason. I know we identified who the people were, and it would totally make sense if it was Bastien folks, if that was part of their, testing out a spell to make sure it works before they take it out on the long road or something like that. They need to, see if it would break free this lesser threat, this very much smaller threat. But yeah, dig it.
All right. So that's that. Now we need four quick story seeds for ourselves. I already have one. I think cool. your first dossier is going to be to apologize properly to Cipriana.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, I did kind of throw it in her face pretty hardcore.
The first one is going to be apologize to Cipriana. We'll roll for the other the other three because I am kind. It's not just making amends, I promise.
Nice. And what page is this? What are these?
It's the same basic generator. I usually tweak gently just to make it more player facing rather than kind of long term.
Got it.
But again, in the next revision, I want to make a separate chart and generator that I can use to make these a little bit more tighter and more player facing. But these actually work pretty well, and I think you'll see that in just a second. So we're gonna roll 2. I'm going to grab one from the Battaglia, suggested list, and then apologize to Cipriana, and then we are ready to go. All right. Okay. Well, the first Battaglia opportunity, I think I would lose. I would lose Lenore. Kristen would never forgive me if I didn't say a Mercy is hunting some arcane creature in the arbor, and has called the house for assistance.
Oh yeah. So just so I'm following along correctly, you rolled 1316, and you're using the same chart. You're using the same.
So I've got those two rolled up. We can look at those. I'm just going to use the last three. So like the first one is going to tell me what chart I'm looking on to get like my first impetus. Like it's not going to be a big clock or anything like that. It's going to be a single errand, something that can be accomplished by the coterie. So it'll be 1316, but we're leaving the one kind of off, right?
Right. Because it's not a clock. Got it. But it's still telling you which. So you're looking at the reach clocks, and so you 3 was acquired property. Okay, got it. I was just taking a second to catch up.
Thank you, because I'll just blow through and obviously everybody understands that.
Yeah, nice.
All right, so we're going to acquire property. We're going to acquire property with intelligence. We're going to acquire some kind of criminal. We're going to acquire a criminal. We'll come back to that one. I have a nugget of an idea, but if you've got something for it, you sing out, okay?
Well, the thing that occurs to me is whoever. I get the sense that a lot of these actions aren't meant to be necessarily following up on one another, but I also, we're pattern matching machines. We can't help but do it. So I think about things in relation to what's happened in the fiction so far, and I think finding out whoever sent these these rogue sorcerers into our hill to awaken the dead would totally be a House Battaglia agenda, right? Like, because they're gone, but obviously somebody sent them. They're working on behalf of someone, and so
and I mean, House Castaño, the idea was that House Castaño was the sixth house of the Esaltari. They've been pulled down, eaten from within by this weird arcane conspiracy, right? And we've stepped up into the gap, and I think our first charge, our first call of duty here is figure out what happened with House Castaño. Like, why did they all go nuts all of a sudden? And that totally makes sense. House Battaglia is charged with discovering the source of the rogue knack, who supplied them, who directed them. Where did this come from? Because it's left field and all of a sudden ghouls. Now it's your problem. Congratulations. Yeah. Welcome to the Esaltari. I love that.
Yep. Take it.
Okay. And one more.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we have a grasp clock. We might get our fighty thing here. Declare a public rivalry over some kind of formula.
You're looking at 5113. Is that
that's it? 5113. So
all right. So
declare a public rivalry with intelligence for a formula. I think that this might be okay. Bird, walk with me for a second. So formulas could be anything. This could be some sort of new alchemical concoction or decoction that is kind of taking upper crust society by storm. But because we are the old house of martial valor and the problems of Ilrian break across our shields, this has become our problem because it is causing friction within the old houses. We might have to find out where this decoction is coming from, figure out how it's made, or who is supplying it, and shut the whole operation down.
Yeah, I think especially if it smacks of I think especially if it smacks of an old threat, of an old, if it I'm thinking of the first Bluecoats case that Judd ran, which was the ghoul case, and it was, somebody found this drug that turned out to be the way the emperor gained his immortality, and it had been gone for a long time. No one had seen it for a long time, for at least 100 years. Was the last time it was seen, and it sort of cropped back up again. I like the idea of something that's cropped up that is reminiscent
Some
of
echoed threat.
of an old threat that we had to put down once before, and that's why Battaglia will, whether it's some undead monsters or whether whatever it's causing, but it's I'm down with that.
Yeah, I think this is speaking silver. I think this is a thing that is now thought of as kind of like a recreational oddity. It's almost like a mercury that is kind of poured out into a vessel, and then the fumes are inhaled, and it sounds as though you are getting messages from the weave, from the spirit realm. What's really happening is this might be an old an old process derived from the Jewel Cities that the Dread Emperor used as like a communications network.
Nice.
We can monkey with that. I'll have a dossier ready for you by game time.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to find out why speaking silver is now becoming a problem in Ilria.
Yeah, why people are having such strange reactions to it.
Okay, so we have that. We have to apologize to Cipriana. We're charged with discovering the source of the knack who woke the ghouls on the Necropolitan Hill. And there's something hunting through the arbor, and the Mercies can't take it out on their own, so they're asking for House Battalia's help.
Love it.
That's the situation when we start. Everybody else has their own wheeling and dealing that they're trying to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a tense Primavera in Ilrian this year.
Yeah. And so from as from the player's perspective, I presume you're going to say, hey Coterie, here's problems that we have, and these are what we want you to resolve. Obviously, you can't do them all, so we pick one that we're going to pursue, and the others kind of hang out, get worse, get handled by somebody else.
Yeah, you get 3 errands per season.
Okay.
I've now got a rule of thumb that I always give you at least 4 problems every season.
Right.
And this is, of course, before any kind of entanglements or anything like that come of these particular
sure.
errands. So we're going to build a lot of fiction kind of up front. This is all happening. Like none of this will stop. If it doesn't seem to, it will have natural outcomes that come of that. Sure. If we continue to let the vampiric wereleopard hunt through the arbor, it's going to be bad. The arbor may not have the ability to feed the city. It may not be. We may have a lockdown in the city or anything like that. There will be fictional things, but we also have a retinue of courtiers, so we could send our retinue of courtiers out to go deal with this with an engagement role, sort of like Band of Blades, wherein bad things might happen to them, good things might happen, but it's all going to come down to a single roll to see how it goes. So it's risky, but all of this is on your plate. How much of it you manage to deal with in 3 errands, 3 engagement rolls, basically determines how many dice you will be rolling between seasons to advance the house.
Got it.
And that's GM's turn.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I look forward to forgetting all of this. And
promise to be surprised.
Yeah, I definitely will be. I mean, I remember about 20% of it right now, and we just did it. So don't worry. By next week, it will be flushed.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, thanks so much, Sean, for hanging out with me and walking me through all this. Luke, thanks for hanging out with us in chat and throwing ideas our way. This was good times. I look forward to seeing how these things kind of play out. It'll be fun to see whether at some point I go, oh yeah, that's what that you like, and because the way the actual problem and the front facing of the problems always look different, right? Like we're not going to hear about exactly what's going to go on. We're going to hear about the symptoms of it. So I'm looking forward
Exactly.
to it.
And that's the idea. Because now, like you guys, anybody watching can see that we basically rolled like 30 dice.
Yeah.
And we've got an entire city full of problems, and people are conniving and coming at things from both sides and directions, and it's just a big noodle salad of problems right now.
Yep.
But it didn't take much. Just took a little bit of making connections and being pattern recognizers, right?
Yeah.
And now we've got this cool playground that is going to have these reactive problems, and it didn't take us. Well, it took us an hour this time because we had to kind of walk through it.
I was also slowing us down by just asking a lot of questions and whatnot.
Questions never slow things down. Questions always make things better.
Yeah, but they do slow things down. they do both.
That's
I would
true.
argue.
That's true.
But yeah, excellent. Well, folks, I hope you come and join us next week while we play Court of Blades. We play next Monday. So see you then. All right. Take care, all.